saw one of your quotes after the Stanford regional. To translate it, like this is what it can look like when we do what we're supposed to do. Is that kind of the feeling coming out of there?
Yes, and we talked about that this morning actually at practice about if you get tired of coach always on you and always telling you you got to do this and coming in after the fact and reminding you, the way you stop that happening is to do it correctly, and they did it. We talked about it at the regionals. We got compliments by other coaches saying that compared to the other teams last week, we looked more mature, getting the correct shots. We got out of position, we got back into position, didn't make big numbers. We only had 2 double bogeys all last week, and shot 36 under par. So all that stuff tells you and tells the team that they did what you said, what you're referencing. They started to play Illinois golf, and that's what happens. Is generally when that happens, and you play from strength and control your space, you actually exceed your expectations a little bit without even knowing you're doing it, and then other teams will make mistakes. And we've been doing that to ourselves a little bit all year, making mistakes, but last week we didn't.
Did you see anything in the preparation, the run-up to that you could get that kind of performance?
No. I mean, I go into every event optimistic and thinking we're going to have a good one. But we got such a good start. We shot 14 under par the first 9 holes at regionals. Count 4 out of 5 scores, which is really, really low. Stanford shot the same number on the back 9, but then they hit a wall and struggled the rest of the event and barely made it out. Well, we kept the momentum going. So I think the start last week was huge for us. We built some confidence out of it, especially after coming out of the Big Tens where we didn't play the kind of golf we played last week. It kept the momentum going. But I see good things in practice every day, and I'd rather look at the good stuff and the bad stuff. But as a coach, you see this, you see warts, but at the same point in time, you try to stay positive as you can. And I think we can play good any day. We got to do it more often.
How do you keep that going, I guess? You're playing great, then you got to stop our working out.
Yeah.
How do you get back to where you juice for?
That's the secret, Bob. That's golf you got to have a week and a half off between events, and that's why the motto or the mandate from this program over the years is we got to get our good enough so our average is good enough to compete. That's always been the goal, and I think we've gotten better this year. Look at our guys. We talked today; they've all gotten better, which is what you want. And we want to get it to where our average, where we can just go out and hit our standard, and not have to play great, and still contend and still be at the top. And that's how you, I think, deal with trying to back it up with something good. Is just come out and hit your standard. Get better every day you're home. Get better during that week and a half. Address issues that you may need to get better at. Relax. Trust yourself. Turn your brain off a lot of times. Think less. Works a lot for us sometimes. So trust yourself and just try to every day in practice get our standard better and better every day, so that we don't have to play great to play good.
When you hit this stage, is it anything different you have to do? Or is it the same approach as any other tournament? Or do you address the stage you're on? How do you kind of approach that as coach?
Yeah, I think we're big in consistency. And I think we kept saying the same mindset, the same practice routine, the same practice rounds, and the travel. Everything is the same. But at this time of year, as a coach, I think you want to back off a little bit. You don't have to talk so much. And I was talking to Ruben today, our assistant coach, and it's like, this time of year, some of the best coaching is not really to do much, not to say much. Don't confuse things. You have to have trust in your team. You have to have trust in your players. And I think in any sport, when you get down to the end of the season where it's really keep going or end, I think the coach can try to get too much control and try to do too much, when sometimes I think the kids can get power and get confidence out of you giving it over to them and understanding you have to do this. So I trust you, I have faith in you, and we're going to back off a little bit. We said things to you 1,000,000 times. 1,000,001 may not be the difference. So maybe just take a little, chill pill and turn responsibility over to them, and I think that's an empowering thing.
In terms of Tyler, you've seen enough tournament golf to know, is there something inside of him, like you've seen in others, the bigger the event, the better he plays, and the more you maybe can get out of him?
I probably haven't seen that enough. He's only been here 1 year.
I know, but I'm just going off of what he did at Wright.
At Wright, he won a lot of events. And I think he came into this level of golf maybe a little bit unsure. It made him unsure of himself because the courses are different, the competition is different. I think he's settling in now, and I think he's starting to actually grab a hold of what this program's about and the mindset we have to have. And I think all transfers, especially transfers that have been somewhere for 4 years, they bring all their habits with them, and if they don't match, there's always a little bit of conflict. So it takes time to coaching the new stuff into them, and then to kind of forget how they did things before. And I think maybe that's starting to click maybe. But he's had some good events this year. He didn't play in the Big Ten championship for us, which I think probably was a good thing considering the way he had played before that. He needed a reset, and I think he got it. And then at regionals, he played great. He played from strength, and it was very impressive to see. And he doesn't overpower golf courses. He doesn't take them, didn't hit it long, but he's got to be strategic, and he's got to be surgical in the way he plays golf. And I think he did that a lot better, obviously, at Stanford.
Any idiosyncrasies about this particular golf course or the championships and how you might attack the course?
This course opened up last week. This course had never been played up until 4 days ago when women played it. It's a total redo from when it was that I knew this course from 40 years ago, which hosted major professional golf, not majors, but World Golf Championships and the Tournament Champions and the PGA Tour. They blew it up, and it opened up the day before the women got to it this week. So the first divots on this golf course were last week, so we don't know much about it. Total redo, and we're going to have a really, really important practice round. And we've been watching TV and trying to see how the course plays for the women, but for us, it's going to be one day to discover it, figure it out.
Is there any type of concern going on in a new course like that? Some not used to, something different?
No, I guess no. That concern is probably too strong a word. Except brand new courses play different than courses that have been settled in for a while. The greens are usually firmer, the harder. They're not as fast. So the course plays different. New courses play different. That's the one that guys are going to have to get used to. But we're used to seeing new golf courses for the first time and getting one practice round to look at them. And only thing here is that you got all 30 teams haven't played it before.
Obviously, it's a long week. Is there anything in your time you've noticed that separates teams or individuals to have success as you go along later in the week?
You mean the success at the end of the week versus the beginning of the week?
The whole. I mean, it's a long week out there, right?
It's a long season. It's a long spring. It's a long week. And yes, we've learned about this. We've tried to slow things down a little bit and give them some more rest leading up to it. They want to go play. School's out now. They want to play and practice all day long, but you got to pace yourself. I think with match play at the end of the week, that adds a lot of stress. We've been in match play quite a few times. I think we keep learning more and more about that. But the stroke play thing is its own animal as well. It's like you said, 4 rounds this week, not 3. And tee times are early. If you get one of those early tee times, it's like a 6:30 start. 6:00. I think last year 6:06 maybe or something like that in the morning. We get up at 3:30 in the morning. Wake up calls. That's a different deal too. So you pace yourself off the golf course with some rest and some patience. But when it comes to playing and practicing, we've been doing this all year. We should be ready to go physically. There's little tweaks you make here and there. All players do that all the time. But for big, worries and things that can tire you out and cause stress and anxiety, you try to get rid of those and just trust what you have. And the good thing is it's only 18 holes a day. Until match play, you might get 36, but most of the year we play 36 whole days. So we should be okay come the end of the week.
Yes, with Tyler, what does it maybe take to have the month you did where he struggled last year in town, didn't play Big Tens, and turns around and is top 5 finisher in the region?
Well, I was proud of him. It showed some resiliency. It showed some mental toughness to come back from that. But young players and even veteran players, if they play bad and they take a week off and just recalibrate and just diffuse themselves, they generally, if they're from sane mind and confidence and they got some moxie to them, they usually come back and figure it out. It's those guys that struggle and keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. Those are the ones that keeps burying themselves. It becomes a bigger problem. So I think maybe the week off helped them, and it kind of rethought things through and worked on some things. And a lot of times when you have a tough stretch, you just got to be honest with yourself and just tell yourself no more. I got to come back and play. Change my mindset around, and good players can do that. And I think Tyler did that. And what he did at Stanford was huge for our team. It was a huge deal. That's the extra score we needed. We've been looking for, and we actually got 2 more last week. So that was encouraging. It was a total team effort, and obviously Tyler led that resurgence.
I would think when you recruited him, it was a matter of when and not if Max would get a win, or be curious and interested in how he'll play the week after or a week and a half after the win.
Yeah, I think everybody is, but that hopefully he's got the self-awareness to know that that's in the past and this is now. But guys who have events sometimes that they still stay in the past and they think about it and they think their expectations change and they think they got to continue to keep doing that way to validate a good tournament. That's when you get in your way. But in golf, a short memory is a great thing when you play bad, and it's also a really good thing when you play good. Because if you're still fighting and trying to go out and build your resume and compete and move forward, that's a big plus. But if you live in the past, even off good things, you're not all engaged, totally engaged in the present. So I'm excited to see. But yeah, he's a good player. I think he understands it. He'll hear that a lot from us. But he's got to come down to just individual and self accountability and toughness. Saying, okay, new tournament, let's go. We'll worry about that. The win we had last week, we'll think about that this summertime. But right now, we got work to do.
The format is what it is, I know, but you've been involved in it a long time. So that helped your team a lot. The fact you've been through this, run start to match, what that's like, how that helped. Is that kind of new for each team?
I think that's good points on both sides. I think it's new for each team.
Right.
But I think the vibe of the team and the coaches and some of the players that played last year may be able to help some of the new guys. But it still comes down to beating your man. It still comes down to having, there's not a lot you can do in match play. There's not a lot, besides trying to finagle the pairings as well as you can to give your guys an advantage or a chance to succeed. They're out there, they have to go get it done, and you find out really who's better that day. And it's match play is an inexact science, we all know that, especially team match play. But individually, they just got to go out and come to terms with themselves, kind of we talked about a minute ago, and have the nerve and the wherewithal to go compete that day and beat your guy. But you can overthink it. I think we've had teams where we've overthought it and done good and bad, and we've underthought it and we've done good and bad. So it's an inexact science, Bob. It is something that it adds a lot of excitement. TV loves it, people love it, the head-to-head version loves it. But you got to be strong. You can't wait for somebody else to do your job in match play. You can't just say, well, I'm having a bad day, they'll pick me up. You gotta, we try to preach it all year. You have to really stick up for yourself and persevere to the best of your ability and get that W somehow.
From a competitive standpoint, how would you assess this year's field and how your team stacks up compared to some previous years in the tournament?
Well, these are the best 30 teams as of last week. They all played. The golf ball did the talking last week, and I think there's more top 10 teams not here this year than there has been in the past because there were a lot of upsets last week in regionals. But these teams are still good, and they're all played well last week. So, rankings are out the window. Past tournaments are out the window. World golf rankings are out the window. It's who can come together, who can be ready to play, relaxed, confident, and go out and play to your potential, even above it a little bit by just playing golf. Who does that the best this week is going to play well, and you got to do it over 6 days. So to handicap the field is hard because they're all the best teams right now. But I like our chances. I like where we're at. I like where our emotional stability where we're at after last week, and we kind of joked around this week a little bit. We're a little bit spastic enough where we could scare some people because when we're good, we're really good, and if we can just relax and carry that confidence, it could be an interesting week.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, Mike.